Max Meyer Haslam. Classification: murderer. Characteristics: robbery. Number of victims: 1. Date of murder: June 22, 1936. Date of birth: 1913. Victim profile: Ruth Clarkson, a spinster in her 70s. Method of murder: beating with a heavy tire lever, a section of iron railing, and a plank. Location: Nelson, Lancashire, England, United Kingdom. Status: executed by hanging at Strangeways Prison on the 4th of February 1937. The body of Ruth Clarkson, an elderly spinster, was found on 22nd of June 1936 in her squalid home in Clayton Street, Nelson. Neighbors had noticed that there had been no sign of the old lady, or her dog, for several days and reported their concerns to the local police. Officers gained entrance through the back door, which had been forced and relocked, to find the battered corpse. Miss Clarkson's dog was found hanging from a bedpost. While Ms. Clarkson lived a penniless existence, surrounded by filth and decay, she was actually extremely wealthy with a very valuable collection of jewelry. It was not long before detectives heard about items of jewelry being pawned, and they were told that the items were being pledged by a dwarf. From that clue it did not take long before 23-year-old Max Meyer Haslam was in custody. He had a lengthy criminal record of minor theft. When he was searched, not only was jewelry found in his pocket, but so was a key which was later found to fit Miss Clarkson's back door. Haslam had recently had money to spend in the pubs, and two of his associates, Thomas Barlow and John Davison, told how Haslam had shown them items that he said he had stolen. Barlow even told officers that Haslam had offered him £200 to help him dispose of a body. At his trial at Manchester Assizes, evidence was given that Haslam's bloody palm print had been found in the house and that bloodstains had been found on his boots. On 10th of December 1936 the jury returned a verdict of guilty and Haslam was sentenced to death. He was hanged at Strangeways on 4th of February 1937. Dwarf murders old spinster in Clayton Street, Nelson, Lancashire in 1936. On the 22nd of June 1936, neighbors of Ruth Clarkson, a spinster in her 70s, were becoming concerned for her well-being as they had not seen her or heard her dog barking for several days. It was rumored locally that although Miss Clarkson lived a squalid and apparently poverty-stricken existence, she was actually a wealthy property owner and had a hoard of money and expensive jewelry hidden somewhere in her rubbish-strewn and rodent-infested terraced house. On the same day, two detectives from Nelson Police Station, a Detective Superintendent Lineker and Detective Chief Inspector Fenton, called at the spinster's house in Clayton Street after receiving information from an arc that a dwarf had been selling quality pieces of jewelry to local pawnshops. The policeman knew of the rumors of Miss Clarkson's Victorian jewelry collection, and wanted to check that it was still in her possession. Despite knocking loud and long at the door of number 56, they failed to gain entry, and one of the worried neighbors told the detectives that Miss Clarkson's niece, Edith Edmondson, had a key and lived nearby. They got the key and used it to go into the house via the back door, which appeared to have been forced open and then relocked from the outside with a key. Even the two seasoned officers were shocked by what they found. Lying amongst a midden of old newspapers, discarded bottles and tins, and half-eaten food, was the spinster's raggedly dressed and blood-soaked body. Her head was split open in several places and her lower limbs were exposed, but she had obviously put up a fight, as there were also blood spatters on the walls and ceiling. Close to Ruth's lifeless form lay a heavy tire lever, a section of iron railing, and a blood-stained plank, which the detectives presumed to be the murder weapons. Upstairs, they found Miss Clarkson's pet terrier hanging by its neck from a length of twine attached to a bedpost. The dog's body had already begun to putrefy, and was riddled with maggots. Leaving the house guarded by several police constables, Lineker and Fenton went in search of their suspect. They knew of only one man in Nelson who was, in the terms of the time, classed as a dwarf. Max Meyer Haslam, a surly petty criminal who had only recently been released from Strangeways prison, and frequented local pubs and lodging houses in company with a small group of Nelson's misfits and ne'er-do-wells. They came across him in Pendle Street where he was walking with unemployed labourer, Thomas Barlow, and when they later searched him at the police station found him to be carrying several items of jewellery and a key of the type missing from Miss Clarkson's house. Haslam insisted that he had owned the jewellery for a long time and the key was for the back door of his father's house in Haywood. The key proved not to fit any of the locks there, but when tried in the door of number 56 Clayton Street, the lock opened without difficulty. The police arrested Max Meyer Haslam for the murder of Miss Clarkson and he stood trial at Manchester Assizes on the 8th of December 1936. The trial, presided over by Mr. Justice Lawrence, lasted for 2 days and a variety of witnesses gave evidence. Two of the most important prosecution witnesses were Thomas Barlow, who was with Haslam at the time of his arrest, and John William Davison. Both these men stayed at the same Nelson boarding house as the accused, and were frequently in his company. They separately told the court that Haslam had admitted to killing Miss Clarkson and her dog and had shown them various items he had gained by his crime. Haslam also had a good deal of money, some of which he had used to buy drinks in the pub for his friends and later to pay for tickets for them to visit the picture house. Barlow also testified that when the two detectives had stopped the pair on Pendle Street on the 22nd of June 1936, Haslam had just offered him £200 to drive a body up to the swamp at Coldwell and throw it in. Haslam's defence lawyers counterclaimed that Barlow and Davison had gone to number 56 Clayton Street a week before the murder to case the joint and had returned themselves to rob and kill Miss Clarkson. Medical and forensic evidence, however, showed that Haslam had recent small fingernail scratches behind his ears and on his chest when his arrest took place, and a palm print left on a blood-stained chair at the crime scene had matched a print taken from Haslam's right hand. He also had a possible dog bite on his right index finger and traces of human blood scents were found on the toe cap of his left boot. When faced with this evidence, Haslam replied, "Not guilty. That's all I have to say." Having heard further evidence from a man claiming to have sold Haslam the tire lever used in the killing, and having dismissed the accused man's alibi of being at a cricket match at the time of the offence, the jury took less than an hour to find him guilty of the murder of Ruth Clarkson. Max Meyer Haslam was hanged at Strangeways Prison on the 4th of February 1937. An anti-hanging protest, led by Mrs. van der Elst, took place outside the jail whilst the execution took place, and at 9:15 in the morning, they played the hymn "Near, Oh My God" to the ears. The officials posted the death notices for all to see.